916 Juliet, departure radar contact, north quarter flight approved.
Alright, VFR flight approved, yeah, north corridor.
Hey, 16J, you got birds, midfield, 300 feet, so watch.
Eglin Tower, 16 Juliet is midfield on the...
airliner, just 2 miles on the runway 30.
I knew that wasn't going to work. Hawk 16 Juliet on the go round. This flight was my second and final solo cross country in my private pilot training. I flew from Eglin to Enterprise, Alabama, then to Crestview, Florida, and finally back to Eglin. I applied several lessons learned from my previous cross country and even my recent Stage 2 Checkride, but this flight brought a few new challenges. Right off the bat, a fast talking approach controller kind of threw me off a little bit mentally. I ended up misvisualizing my approach into Crestview, which threw me off a little bit, and I changed how I tracked my arrival times at each checkpoint, which ended up throwing off my ground speed checks. Add in some wind shear at every approach, which ended up causing a go around whenever I returned to Eglin, and this flight gave me plenty to learn from. Reviewing the GoPro footage afterward has been invaluable for this flight and every other one. In this one specifically, it helped me catch not only the mistakes I noticed in the moment, but also things I completely missed while I was flying. I wasn't fully satisfied with my performance on this flight, but it was incredibly valuable learning experience. So let's get into it. 77127, and then
Wind 010 at 07. Weather is better than 5.
Eglin clearance, November 5916 Juliet, VFR for Enterprise.
November 5916 Juliet clearance. I'm showing you going to Enterprise, Crestview, then back to Eglin. Is that correct?
That is correct.
November 16 Juliet, you can be VFR?
Yes sir, it'll be VFR.
Number 5916 Juliet, roger. On departure, maintain VFR. Departure frequency 125.1, squawk 5544.
Alright, on departure, maintain VFR, VFR frequency 125.1 and squawk 5544 for 16 Juliet.
Number 16 Juliet, read back correct.
This is 125.1.
Delta 351, runway 30, taxi via hotel.
Proper heading 198. We will hit that guy, and it backs up properly. Eglin ground, November 5916 Juliet, ready to taxi with information Romeo, VFR to the north.
November 5916 Juliet, Eglin ground, runway 02 at Juliet, intersection departure, taxi via Tango, Mike Romeo.
Alright, runway 02 departure at Juliet and taxi via Tango, Mike Romeo for 16 Juliet. See light. We are clear left and clear right. So, check our brakes. Brakes are good.
November 16 Juliet, say direction of flight.
I'll be headed to the north for 16 Juliet.
Give way to the Cessna off your right wing, taxiing to Juliet.
Alright.
And ground marine 903, we'll take 02. We could do whiskey for 903.
CTAF, walk over fuel quantity is unlocked, mixture going 1, 2. Engine instruments, oil pressure is good, oil temperature is coming low, and he gave us 125.
Delta 3051.
Yes, so we can that now. Under Alt.
Eglin Tower, Marine 903, holding short, runway 2 at Whiskey.
Eglin Tower, November 5916 Juliet at intersection Juliet, ready for takeoff, runway 02 VFR to the north.
November 5916 Juliet, Eglin Tower, hold short, runway 2 at Juliet, and expect a 3-minute delay for wake turbulence.
Hold short, runway 2 at Juliet, and expect a delay for wake turbulence, 16 Juliet.
107, clear for takeoff.
Marine 903, clear for takeoff, runway 02 at.
5916 Juliet, runway 2 at Juliet, winds are 360 at 9, are clear for takeoff.
Clear for takeoff at runway 216 Juliet. Alright, clear on the approach end, clear on the departure end. Alright, we've got runway heading 2, heels are on the floor.
Southwest 1092,
oil pressure's in the green, oil temperature's in the green. Clearance are good, RPM's good, airspeed's alive, looking for 55. And
check your frequency, you're broadcasting on guard. And Aero Club 15, runway 2 at Juliet, line up wait.
And line up and wait for Aero Club 15.
Aero Club 15, runway 2 at Juliet, winds are 360 at 9, are clear for takeoff.
Clear for takeoff, Aero Club 15.
there's 1100. Back. Alright. Now airspeed. Taxi's coming off.
5916 Juliet, you can contact approach 251.
Over to approach on 125.1, Aero Club 16 Juliet. Eglin approach November 5916 Juliet, just north of Eglin, VFR for Enterprise, Alabama.
916 Juliet, departure radar contact, north quarter flight approved via field 2, then you can resume on navigation to Enterprise. VFR climb to 55 is approved.
Alright, VFR flight approved via north corridor, and proceed on route 5500 following that, and I'm asked to pilot solo.
Okay. And the restricted areas are cold, so after field 2, however you want to get to Enterprise is fine.
Alright, so however I want to get after that, so direct Enterprise, I appreciate that.
Approved.
Alright, so we will continue our climb. Alright. So full power. And up to 55. So up to 55.
Eglin approach, experimental 2007 November.
2007.
And there it is, 5,500. We'll level off here, gain some airspeed. I'll back the power right there. And we'll lean this out, so 98. 12. Alright, crew checklist power is set. Elevator trim, adjust that a little bit. Mixture is lean, engine instruments. Oil pressure.
November 07 November, just maintain 4,500 still advised for crossing traffic at 35.
Joseph, maintain 4,500.
We're good. 275. So ADI, HSI, no cautions or warnings there.
November 624, contact Tyndall approach 125.2.
And my temperatures are good on my EDM.
You too.
Oh, that was top of climb. Oh. 44, so 11 minutes ago was 34:33. On 3-3. So 4 minutes from now.
November 07, November traffic, no factor, altitude, your discretion. November 486 for Yankees.
Traffic off my nose. 1 o'clock, 1,100 feet below me. I don't see him.
November 92908, contact Cairns approach 133.75. November 47 extra radar contact 4 miles northeast of the Crestview VOR. And what's your destination airport? Roger.
58, 1002. Next we're looking for the solar farms.
November 5916 Juliet, contact Cairns approach 133.45.
Over to Cairns approach on 133.45, 16 Juliet. Cairns approach, November 5916 Juliet, 5,500 VFR for Enterprise, Alabama, into Crestview.
Number 5916 Juliet, Cairns approach, Cairns altimeter 3015. Did you have a approach request to Enterprise, or are you just going VFR?
Just going VFR, going to be a full stop taxi back.
Number 16 Juliet, roger. Number 2 Bravo Echo, contact Montgomery approach 124.0.
Alright, cruise checklist power is adjusted. Elevator trim is adjusted. Make sure
Number 9 Whiskey Alpha, contact Eglin approach 125.1. Have a great day.
Oil pressure looks good, oil temperature looks good, amps look good. Fuel quantity is showing appropriate. And no cautions, warnings on the ADI or HSI. Right, and we are coming right over the top of the solar farm.
In my previous flight, I reset the timer at each checkpoint, which made my ground speed check spot on. But for this flight, I tried something different. I let the timer run continuously from Eglin to Enterprise and did the math when I reached each visual checkpoint. With everything happening in flight, that added workload and threw off my accuracy, which ultimately affected my ground speed checks. That's why you'll notice me taking a bit longer at each checkpoint to jot down my times. It was an extra mental load, and you'll see how it impacted my process throughout the flight.
So 446.
Guard.
Miles. So 9 minutes, so it should be
5 Delta Mike, contact general approach 125.2. Have a great day.
1.
Weather, wind 050 at 3. Visibility 10.
Everybody Tango Alpha, contact Jacksonville Center,
temperature 125.9 Celsius. 2.4, altimeter 3017.
Alright, coming from 050, so we're looking at runway 05. Load and field, I got 4 miles after that, so on top of the sun.
Roger that. Thank you very much.
Number 16 Juliet, VFR altitude is your discretion, just report Enterprise in sight.
VFR altitude, my discretion, and report Enterprise in sight for 16 Juliet. Alright, we're going right over Samson right now. 2755. So 945 plus 28 plus 30 is 15, minus 2 is 13. One. 4 miles past this. So
Clear below 12,000. Temperature 19 Celsius.
be right off our nose. Got it in sight. And approach November 5916 Juliet. I have Enterprise in sight and I have the power weather.
Number 16 Juliet, roger, no tribe reserved between you and Enterprise. Remain that beacon code, change to advisory frequency approved, radar service terminated.
Remain this code on the departure and change it over to advisory frequency. 1228. Our descent right here, so fuel selector valve is on both, power.
Statement at traffic sky 12630 turning. Crosswind, runway 26, touch to go baby.
18. Trim that out.
Silicaca traffic, Cessna 4 Golf is 6 to the southwest for 45 left downwind 427 south.
Next year we will lean that out below 3,000 and looking for 700 feet per minute descent. So right there.
Statement at traffic sky 12630 turning downwind, runway 26, touch go baby.
Enterprise traffic, November 5916 Juliet is 9 miles to the south, inbound for Enterprise.
Enterprise traffic, Musketeer 7058 Lima is about 9 to the north. We were going to enter the left downwind for runway 5 out of 45, currently at 3,000 and descending Enterprise.
Skyhawk 16 Juliet copies that. I'll be crossing over the airfield 1,700 and performing the right-hand turnaround for runway 05. Alright, so looking good. I got our descent rate.
Statement at traffic sky 12630 turning base, runway 26, Bayman at. That's Silicaca traffic, Cessna 4 Golf.
Neva County traffic 338, Juliet turning left base, 29.
Still plenty of areas, put it down, should I need to.
Runway 36 will be departing from the downwind outbound traffic.
More traffic, 3 Bravo Lima for on left base for runway 36. Add more traffic. Enterprise traffic, Musketeer 758 Lima is 4 to the north. We're going to be entering the left downwind at a 45 for runway 5 full stop Enterprise. Looking out for that traffic down the field.
Okay. Enterprise traffic, Skyhawk 16 Juliet is 5 miles to the south. will be overflying midfield 1,700 and performing a right-hand turnaround to enter the downwind for runway 05, Enterprise.
Enterprise traffic, Mr. 7958 Lima is entering a left downwind at a 45 for runway 5, full stop Enterprise.
Alright, power medium, got the power back.
Enterprise traffic, Mr. 7958 Lima is left base, runway.
Prineville traffic, Skylane 2794.
Enterprise traffic, Skyhawk 16 Juliet is overflying midfield 1,700, performing a right-hand turnaround to enter the downwind for runway 05. Will be a full stop and taxi back, Enterprise.
Enterprise traffic, Skyhawk November 12876 will be taken off runway 05 for a crosswind departure. Enterprise traffic.
Enterprise traffic, Mr. 7958 Lima, clear runway 5, taxing to the Luminary Enterprise.
Don't see any other traffic. Got one on the runway that is clear. I'm taking the runway
traffic,
now.
3 Bravo.
Alright, so I'll go out, then descend, and then turn around. Alright, coming up on 1200, there it is. Enterprise traffic, Skyhawk 16 Juliet, performing a right-hand turnaround to enter the downwind for runway 05, Enterprise.
Enterprise traffic, Skyhawk November 12876 is turning left, crosswind 05, departure to the north. Last call for 12876. Enterprise.
Enterprise traffic, Skyhawk 16 Juliet, entering the left downwind for runway 05. Have that departing traffic in sight for Enterprise. Alright. Forward landing, seatbelts and harnesses secure. Fuel selector valve is on both. Mixture is rich. Carburetor heat is coming on.
Atmore traffic, 3 Bravo Lima. We are departing the left downwind to the south. We are climbing to 3,500 feet, switching base, Atmore. And Atmore traffic, down the south, 22 Papa Sierra, 7 miles to the south, inbound RNAV runway 36, Atmore traffic.
Franklin traffic, driving 849 Lima on final, runway 32 Franklin.
Alright, so I'll start flow, carb heat is on, pull the power back. 485. There it is, 1 notch. And we'll keep that. Enterprise traffic, Skyhawk 16 Juliet, turning left base for runway 05, Enterprise. Alright, stay coordinated. Slow down a little bit. There we go. And second notch. Clear on final. Enterprise traffic, Skyhawk 16 Juliet, turning final, runway 05 will be a full stop, taxi back, Enterprise. Alright. Easy. Alright, 74, there we go. Alright, looking good on altitude, looking good on airspeed. Drive into the wind a little bit. Looking good, looking good. Good. Enterprise traffic, Skyhawk 16 Juliet is clear of runway 05, Enterprise. Alright, after landing, carburetor heat, cold, flaps up, landing light coming off, taxi coming on, strobes off, transponder, you standby. Make sure we will lean that since we're on the ground. Alright. Enterprise traffic, Skyhawk 16 Juliet is taxiing to runway 05 via Alpha, will be a southbound departure, Enterprise. So, Enterprise. About 8:45. Before takeoff, brakes, hold, seatbelts and harnesses are secure. Cabin doors, left aileron goes up, right aileron goes down. Flight instruments check and set. So, no cautions warning. Alright, fuel quantity is showing appropriate. Mixture, so full rich. Magneto, so 1, 2 to the left, 1, 2. About 75 RPM drop, back to both, 1, 2. Engine instruments, so oil pressure's in the green, oil temperature's in the green, comm, nav, GPS. Alright, so we have Unicom here, we have approach, we have guard. Let's put Crestview weather in. Frequencies 119275. So Alright, GPS now. ENCEW. Transponder, takeoff briefing. Alright, we're going to take runway 05. Enterprise traffic, Skyhawk 16 Juliet holding short runway 05 for the arriving traffic. We'll be departing the crosswind to the south, Enterprise.
Enterprise traffic, North February 11 to go back to mile final, runway 5, Enterprise.
Alright, strobes coming on. Got alt, make sure rich. Get a little situational awareness here.
Enterprise traffic, 1 to go back, clear of the active.
Enterprise traffic, Skyhawk 16 Juliet taking runway 05. We'll be departing the crosswind leg to the southwest, Enterprise. Alright, we got 05, heels are on the floor. Putting the power in. Oil pressure's in the green, oil temperature's in the green, amps are good, RPM is in the green, airspeed is alive, looking for 55. And there it is, rotate.
How about your call traffic, citation 527, Echo 30 to the north and down runway 6.
So 900. Enterprise traffic, Skyhawk 16 Juliet, turning crosswind, runway 05, Enterprise.
Enterprise traffic, Skyhawk 536, 8 miles to the south. Going to be a overflight of the airport 1700, right here drop in for left downwind at runway 5, Enterprise.
Alright. Route climb, airspeed 7580. We got that. Landing light coming off. Enterprise traffic, Skyhawk 16 Juliet, departing the crosswind, climbing up to 4,500, and then turning southwest. Last call, Enterprise. Alright. Traffic, Archer 2480 Victor making a right-hand 180 and departing.
Enterprise traffic, Skyhawk 536, 5 miles to the south, overflight at 17, right teardrop for left down.
Tank 2000.
Enterprise traffic, November 5916 Juliet, 3,300, climbing to 4,500, VFR to Crescent.
Number 5916 Juliet, Sierra departure ident. Number 16 Juliet, radar contact 2 miles northwest of Enterprise, Sierra altimeter 3015, maintain VFR.
3015 and maintain VFR 16 Juliet. One, 2, 5, 1.
Four, 5.
Level off there, gain some airspeed. And I'll throttle back. Our cruise power setting. There. So cruise power is set. Elevator trim. Just a hair. Mixture, lean.
Animal Rescue Flight 9, might descend and maintain 4,000.
We hit our top.
Animal Rescue Flight 9, might descend and maintain 4,000.
2 minutes. So.
Number 60 Juliet, right now the King Gear jumpers are on the ground. 8.4.
Oh, there's Samson. Alright, cruise checklist. Continue that. Make sure lean above 3,000. Got that. Engine instruments. Oil pressure is in the green. Oil temperature is in the green. Amps are good. Fuel quantity is shown appropriately. No cautions, warnings in the ADI or HSI. And my engine temperatures are good. So keep that 227 heading.
November 16 Juliet, contact Eglin approach 124.05. Have a great day.
Over to approach on 124.05 for 16 Juliet, precision.
I'll 43100, Karen's approach, Karen's altimeter 3015.
Eglin approach, November 5916 Juliet, 4,500 VFR to Crestview.
Number 4, Christian 5916 Juliet, Eglin approach. Are you landing at Bob Sykes today?
Landing at Bob Sykes via full stop and then headed back to Eglin after that.
5916 Juliet, copy that.
Alright, so we are at Samson, Logan Field at 11:27. And next waypoint is Florala. One on 275, got that. So I got the weather for Crestview in there. I can see the lake for Florala up there. Once again, still plenty of places.
Number 223, Mike, contact approach 132.
Florala at 2 o'clock. Still, I could glide there if I need to. Alright, so that is Florala. Coming up on my right. .38. And 53. 58. 27. 8 minutes. 12 miles. My ground speed calculations are not working today. Alright, so next one is top of descent. So 8 miles out from Crestview.
3020. Remarks. Density altitude 900. Bob Sykes Airport. Automated weather observation.
Eglin approach, Skyhawk 16 Juliet. I've got Crestview in sight and I've got the current weather.
16 Juliet, change my frequency approved.
Alright, over to advisory for 16 Juliet, appreciate it. And that advisory frequency is 12307. 307. And we are 7 miles out, so we'll start our descent. Descent checklist, fuel selector valve is on both. Power, repeat on, power back. .600 foot per minute descent.
Outside traffic, Skyhawk 902-161, turning crosswind.
Southside traffic, Skyhawk 16 Juliet is 9 miles to the northeast. We'll be entering the downwind for runway 35, Bob Sykes. Alright, here's 0400.
Bob Sykes traffic, Skyhawk 902-161, entering left downwind, runway 35, touch and go, Bob Sykes.
135.902, American 2999, Jack Center guard. Jack Center.
As I approached Crestview from the northeast, I initially called out the correct runway in use, 35, but mentally I was picturing an arrival pattern for the opposite runway, 17. I mistakenly announced I'd enter the downwind for 35, but in my head I was setting up to enter the downwind for runway 17. I even said I was west of the field instead of east at one point. After a few busy CTAF calls that served as a reminder, it finally clicked. I corrected myself and announced I'd overfly the field to enter the proper downwind for 35. This was the part of the flight where I was most unsatisfied with my performance, and watching this and debriefing it was pretty difficult, but it served as a strong reminder that mental visualization must match reality, especially in busy airspace.
Alright, we're going down to 1200 for this pattern. I'm going to stay wide so that way I can swing it around and enter the downwind.
Big traffic, 0 Sierra Romeo, left downwind, 35, just go Bob Sykes. Bob Sykes, Skyhawk 902-161, entering left base, runway 35, Bob Sykes. Bob Sykes, Skylane 9337 X-ray, left crosswind departing the pattern to the west, last call, Bob Sykes. Bob Sykes traffic, Skyhawk 902-161, entering final, runway 35, touch and go, Bob Sykes.
Bob Sykes traffic, Skyhawk 16 Juliet is 5 miles to the west. We'll be entering the downwind for runway 35, Bob Sykes.
Sykes traffic, 0 Sierra Romeo, left base, 35, touch go, Bob Sykes.
35. Alright, so we need to overfly 1700. Bob Sykes traffic, Skyhawk 16 Juliet, going to be overflying the airport midfield, 1700, performing the right-hand turnaround to enter the downwind for runway 35, Bob Sykes. Bob Sykes traffic, Skyhawk 16 Juliet is overflying midfield, 1700, going to be performing the right-hand turnaround to enter the downwind for runway 35, and I have that crosswind traffic in sight.
Hey, 16J, you got birds, midfield, 300 feet, so watch your climb out on the go.
16 Juliet copies, appreciate that. Let me start our descent here. No power coming now, so carb heat on. Got that crosswind, or that departing traffic. Oh, there's 1200, so carb heat back in. Bob Sykes traffic, Skyhawk 16 Juliet, performing a right-hand turnaround to enter the downwind for runway 35, Bob Sykes. There's that downwind traffic.
0 Sierra Romeo, left base, runway 35, Bob Sykes.
Bob Sykes traffic, Skyhawk 16 Juliet, entering the downwind midfield for runway 35, Bob Sykes. And I've got that base traffic in sight. Alright, so before landing, seatbelts and harnesses are secure. Fuel selector valve is on both. Make sure it is rich. Carb heat coming out and landing light is coming on.
Sykes traffic, 0 Sierra Romeo, final, good to go, Bob Sykes, 35.
Put down a little bit. So there's a number, start my flow, set power back, 485, and 1 notch. And there it is. I'll maintain that. Bob Sykes traffic, Skyhawk 16 Juliet, turning left base, runway 35 will be a full stop, Bob Sykes. Alright, stay coordinated. Bob Sykes traffic, Skyhawk 16 Juliet, turning final, runway 35, Bob Sykes. Stay coordinated.
Traffic, 0 Sierra Romeo, departing runway 35, right turn out to the east, Bob 6.
Looking good so far. Airspeed's looking good. A little high. Bring power back. A little high. Bring power back some more. A little windy. Got some wind shear. Alright.
Commuter, what you got?
Bob Sykes traffic, Skyhawk 16 Juliet is clear of runway 35, Bob Sykes. Alright, carburetor down, flaps up. After landing, carburetor heat cold, flaps up, landing light coming off, taxi coming on, strobes off, transponder standby. Make sure lean as required. We are on the ground. Bob Sykes traffic, Skyhawk 16 Juliet taxiing to runway 35 via Alpha will be departing to the south, Bob Sykes. Clear right, clear left. So it was 11. So before takeoff, brakes, hold, seatbelts, and harnesses are secure. ADI, we have no battery icons or cautions or warnings on that or the HSI. Fuel quantity is shown appropriately. Throttle that back to idle. Check for a smooth idle. Got a smooth idle. Move that. We're at Bob Sykes. Land.
Bob Sykes, 556, Golf Alpha, 10 miles.
GPS. Alright, so we got that set. We have approach in here, Crestview CTAF, and then once we switch over to approach, we can put tower in, transponder. Alright, takeoff briefing. We're going to take runway 35. Windows closed and latched. Strobe light coming on. Landing light coming on. Taxi coming off before takeoff is complete. So we will taxi over here. Alright, let's see anybody in here. Bob Sykes, traffic, Skyhawk 16 Juliet, holding short, runway 35. We'll be departing straight out and then turning to the eastbound. Bob Sykes. Alright, made a call. Wait a second, make sure there's nobody. Then straight in. Bob Sykes, traffic, Skyhawk 16 Juliet, taking runway 35. We'll be departing straight out and turning eastbound. Bob Sykes.
Bob Sykes, traffic, 556 Golf Alpha 2000, 5 miles to the east, inbound, going to cross midfield for left traffic for 35. Bob Sykes.
Alright, you got pattern altitude bugged in there. Alright, heels are on the floor, lined up in center line. Alright, I've got runway heading 3535, so I'll bring the power in. Oil pressure's in the green, oil temperature's in the green, amps are good, RPM is good, airspeed is alive, looking for 55. And there it is, gonna rotate. 7580. Right in there. And we'll just continue our climb up to 2,500. Bob Sykes, traffic, Skyhawk 16 Juliet on the departure. Going to extend a little bit for that arriving traffic before turning eastbound. Bob Sykes.
Bob Sykes, 6 Golf Alpha, heads in sight. I'm going to cross midfield. Alright, so he's crossing behind me. Alright, and our climb, airspeed, we've got that. Throttle full open, landing light coming off. Bob Sykes, traffic, 556 Golf Alpha, going to cross midfield, 1700, make a right teardrop. Left traffic, runway 35, full stop, Bob Sykes. Bob Sykes, traffic, Skyhawk 16 Juliet, on departure from runway 35, departing the pattern to the east. Last call, Bob Sykes.
75, correction 124.47. You do. And 1346. There's 2500. A little off there. Pull the power back. Trim that out. Roger, thanks. So both cables removed. And we're chasing left side amendment to route information Tango. Eglin Tower information Tango. 1555 Zulu observation. Wind 350 at 08. Weather is better than 5005. Temperature 23. Dew point 02. Altimeter 3016. Removed.
Eglin approach, November 5916 Juliet.
Envoy 4122, roger, just going to maintain 7,000, the crest altimeter is 3020. November November 2 Tango Alpha Cougar, then direct. Shooter 088 Eglin approach, light and clear to Crestfield, altimeter 3020. November Envoy 3954 Eglin approach, light and clear, descend to maintain 10,000, flighting 200. Expect the visual runway 30. You got it, thanks. Envoy 4122, contact Tenable approach on 125.2. Good day. November 2 Tango Alpha, descend to maintain 7,000. And Envoy 3954, I don't know if I said expect the visual approach runway 30.
Eglin approach, November 5916 Juliet, 5 miles east of Bob Sykes, VFR back to Eglin.
November 5916 Juliet, roger, verify VFR to Destin.
VFR to Eglin, yes sir.
Oh, to Eglin, roger, direct Eglin via field 2, South Quarter flight approved via field 2 to Eglin.
Alright, South Corridor approved via field 2 to Eglin, 16 Juliet.
16 Juliet, affirmative, and maintain VFR at or below 2,000 feet for traffic opposite direction at or above 2,500.
I remain at or below 2,500 for 16 Juliet.
November 51 Romeo, maintain at or above 2,500 for traffic southbound at or below 2,000.
2,500. We'll say at 23.
Roger, 16 Juliet, traffic in sight, altitude your discretion.
Alright, altitude at my discretion, 16 Juliet. Descent checklist. Fuel selector valve is on both. Power is set. Mixture is rich and carburetor heat is on. So power M, maintain 1100.
November 16 Juliet, contact Eglin Tower.
Over to Tower 16 Juliet, appreciate it.
November 51 Romeo, copy all, maintain.
Eglin Tower, November 5916 Juliet at field 2, inbound for Eglin, and I have information Tango and student pilot solo.
5916 Juliet, Eglin Tower, roger, proceed right downwind runway 02.
Alright, proceed right downwind for runway 02, 16 Juliet. Alright, so right downwind so we can slide right into it.
Tower Envoy 3954, inbound for the visual runway 30.
Envoy 3954, Eglin Tower, roger, runway 30, winds are 030 at 9er, clear to land, all cables removed.
30, clear to land, Envoy 3954.
Alright, before landing checklist, seatbelts and harnesses are secure. Fuel selector valve is on both. Mixture is rich. Carburetor heat is on. And landing light is coming on. Eglin Tower 16 Juliet is midfield on the right downwind for runway 2.
16 Juliet, make a left 360, you're going to be number 2 following airliner, just 2 miles on the runway 30.
Alright, make a left 360 and I've got that traffic in sight, 16 Juliet. I knew that wasn't going to work. Add some power back, say 1100. Eglin Tower 16 Juliet, you want me to make another 360 for wake turbulence?
Affirmative, and report base.
One more 360, then report base for 16 Juliet, appreciate you. Alright, I'll start my flow here, so 1 notch of flaps. Power back, 85. Eglin Tower, Skyhawk 16 Juliet, turning right base, runway 2.
16 Juliet, roger, runway 2, window 020 at 7, ghost 14, clear to land.
Clear to land, runway 2, 16 Juliet. I am way high. Coordinated. Eglin Tower, Skyhawk 16 Juliet on the go round.
16 Juliet, roger, right close approved.
Right close traffic approved, 16 Juliet. So right turn out, stay coordinated. There's 1100. Off. Alright, before landing, seatbelts and harnesses are secure. Fuel selector valve is on both. Mixture is rich, carburetor heat on, and landing light is on. Right there. Eglin Tower, Skyhawk 16 Juliet, turning right base, runway 2.
16 Juliet, runway 2, wind 0020 at 6 for lane.
Clear to land, runway 2, 16 Juliet. Going down 20. Oh, there's 500. We're good here. Get coordinated. Get coordinated. Eglin Tower, South 16 Juliet, turning right on Mike.
16 Juliet, roger, you taxi park via Mike Tango, monitor ground.
Alright, taxi departing via Mike Tango and monitor ground, appreciate you.
05 Eglin Tower, runway 30, line up, wait on departure and turn right heading 020, climb maintain 3000.
Alright, after landing, carburetor heat in, flaps up, strobes, transponder, mixture, it'll lean that out, 218. Via Mike Tango. So we are clear right and clear left. Shut down avionics power switch.